Good morning and welcome to Power Up. I'm your host, Dr. Marcy Bryant, and this is the show where we learn it, live it, and pass it on. We want you to be powered up today to go after your dreams, to pursue with all your vigor everything that you were meant to accomplish and achieve in this lifetime. Our guest today, we're going to be talking about just that, how he has been chasing and going after his dreams and making them come true. We want you to do more today than you did yesterday. We want you to have a glorious future. That's why we're coming to you with ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. So with that, we are going to bring our guest on today, and we are going to talk to him about the NBG network. This young man has done some great work. He is involved in some excellent outreach programs, and we're going to talk all about it. But I want you to understand something right now, that he didn't start where he is. He's in a great place, but he's going to tell you how he got started and some of the obstacles that he had to overcome to be where he is. And I'd like to welcome him to the show. Leonard, welcome to Power Up.
Thank you.
Are you powered up today?
Yeah, trying to be.
Trying to be?
Yeah, definitely. The weather's still a little cold. I'm waiting on spring to really get here.
Oh, so, good.
Looking for some sunshine, too.
All right. Mr. Leonard Young, you are the, would you say director, owner, president?
Yeah, usually I just say the owner.
The owner of NBG Network.
Right.
Now tell us what the NBG network is and how this network works, and then we're going to go back and see how it got started.
Gotcha. So basically the NBG network, so we have a 15-city digital network where it's almost like a series of websites. So similar to how ABC, NBC has an affiliate in every city, we're looking to have a website affiliate in every city where we can promote positive news in the African American community, support Black businesses, and post local events as well. So through that, we have about 15 cities we have websites. Just for the quick rundown, we have New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Delaware, Baltimore, D.C., Jacksonville, Miami, Atlanta, Houston, Birmingham, Chicago, Los Angeles. And then we have a national site where we publish news from multiple cities. With that, we do a lot of advertising. We have a lot of other services as well. So that's pretty much what the NBG network is overall. And kind of like you said, we're trying to be powered for 2018 and, really just be a benefit to the community, give back, and be able to create a legacy.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Now, how did NBG come about? What inspired you to start this network?
So, really, NBG actually came from DelawareBlack.com. So it was probably about 10 years ago. Let me go back a little bit farther. So from Delaware, I went to school at Florida A&M University, which I consider the number one HBCU in the country. So while in Florida, there were a couple of cities that had some type of African American media, whether it was a radio station, magazine, newspaper, website, something similar. After Florida, I came back to Delaware. I lived in Philly for a little bit. Of course, Philly had some form of Black media. Okay. Then I moved to Texas. They had some form of Black media. And when I came back to Delaware, there was really no Black media. Okay. So, one of the things I always think about is there's a lot of great things going on in the African American community, but unfortunately, a lot of times we don't hear about them. A lot of times we'll hear about the negative things. Okay. The negative things are always on the news.
Always.
So really, when we started the website Delaware Black, we wanted to be able to focus on some of the great things that were happening that we weren't hearing about. Stuff in our community, stuff with our businesses, stuff with our events. So, that's really how it started. That was back in 2006. So I guess probably closer to 12 years now. But so that's really how DelawareBlack.com started. Through DelawareBlack.com, I got to meet a lot of great people, including you. But wonderful. Just throughout the years, meet a lot of great people. We were able to do a lot of great partnership events with different organizations. Well, it was fundraising. business, community focus. We were able to do a lot of great things. So in 2008, I kind of had the idea. I'm like, okay, well, if this model works here in Delaware,
Okay.
would it work in other cities? So, at that point I was like, well, what does it say? Nothing beats a chance but a try or something like that. So in 2008, decided to try some other cities. And basically what we tried to do was we took the cities closest to us. So we decided to start with Philadelphia, Baltimore, and DC. So we started websites in those areas, all with the same focus of promoting positive news in the community, Black businesses, local events. And, it turned out moderately well. I think one of the things I didn't think about is when you go into other people's cities and try to do stuff, sometimes you can be met with some resistance. And
Ooh, tell me a little bit about some resistance here now.
Yeah.
What kind of, does anything stand out specifically?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So I'll say, and I'll mention the city of brotherly love.
Okay.
Because, that was the city that was close enough, Philadelphia. So, we have a site in Philadelphia called afrophilly.com. And, I just assumed since we were doing positive things that everybody would love it.
Okay.
But, I think there were some people who definitely did not like it. And, kind of like how they say Delaware can be a closed network.
Okay.
Philadelphia can be a closed network too. And depending on who you are and what you do, they can either be accepting or they can kind of hold you back.
Well, obviously, you did something to overcome that because you do have a presence in the Philadelphia area.
And I think the biggest thing about that is just consistency.
Okay.
So, I think when you, and I'll just say when you pop in other people's markets, the first thing they think is that you're going to come in, take, and leave.
Okay.
And, our website is really about giving information. So, I think over time, people saw, okay, well, they're not just coming in here, taking money, leaving. It's not a quick hit. And, throughout the years, even in Philadelphia, we've supported a lot of great organizations. We've done events. We have a lot of great partnerships. So I'm definitely looking forward to even now to this day building in Philadelphia. But, that's pretty much how it started. So, we started with those 3 cities. And then, of course, I felt like I had to do Atlanta because, they say Atlanta is the Mecca of the South.
Okay.
So, then from Atlanta, it was kind of and then we did New York too. So at that point, we had 4 other cities. And then, it came to a point where we were just trying to build those cities up. Because, one of the things I always think about, it doesn't make sense to go to a whole bunch of cities when you can't maintain what you already have. So, then it was a couple years where we were really just maintaining, building up the cities we had, trying to make some partnerships. And it was probably about 2 or 3 years ago when it was like, okay, you know what am I waiting for? I'm not getting any younger. And, there's a lot of cities out there that I think can benefit from what we have. So at that point, it was actually 2017 where I think we put up 10 more cities.
Ooh.
So,
how do you get into these cities? Do you contact like the local chamber of commerce? I mean, specifically, what did you do to open the door to make your presence in these cities known?
So I mean, that really is a great question because, it all depends on the city. And, one of my fears was if you let people know you're coming, then they can be more prepared to stop you. So, really, like, I didn't do a lot of outreach. So, what I did is really I used the power of the internet. So, I set up the website. And what I would do first is, different stories that I would see regarding stuff in those cities, I would start putting it on the website. So like let's say you're in Houston and you have a press release or an article about this show. Maybe I'll put it on the website and then I'll say, hey, Dr. Marcy, here's a link. I posted your stuff on my website. Because one thing I know is that people love to be featured. And people love to see people they know featured on different places. So hopefully, if you like what I posted, then you'll let all your people, hey, check out my article on HoustonTXBlack.com.
Okay.
So, so that was one of the things I did. So not only with articles and information, but we'd also do it with events and Black businesses as well. So that's kind of how we started. And then, of course, social media is huge. So of course, we made sure we maintained our social media presence. And, by maintaining the social media presence, just reaching people, letting them know what we do, letting them know that they can promote their events on our site, they can promote their business. And then, after that, it's just kind of making those partnerships and, trying to connect with the people on a deeper level.
Yes. Now we're going to get a little bit deeper because you didn't start here. We're going to have to go back. Obviously, you just didn't roll out of bed one day and decided that this is what's going to happen and I'm just going to do it. You had to have some type of beginning and an obstacle or two. I don't know what your story is, but I would like you to go back and tell us what obstacle did you have to overcome before you began walking this path to creating the NBG network?
Right. So, I think the first obstacle, so of course, when we go about 12 years back and, just think about how things transpired. But right now, internet is everything. Like we all know the internet, we all use it on a daily basis. In 2012, I think depending on what you were doing, the internet was maybe not so safe as it is now. So one of the biggest obstacles at that point was trying to get people to advertise on the website, because a lot of people think, okay, it's a website, I'm going to pay money, I'm going to go there tomorrow and it's not going to be there anymore. So, I think that was one of the biggest things, just people's being skeptical about internet advertising. Now we know it's a way of life, but back then, a lot of people weren't advertising on the internet, paying money to have stuff on the internet. So that was one of the biggest things, just the skepticism. Besides that, when I started my business, and I'll just go back a little bit more, I've always been a dreamer. I've always kind of been like a free spirit where, if there's something I want to do, like I want to go do it. Like I don't want to stop.
You sound a little bit like me.
And of course, I'll try to think it through.
Okay.
But I mean, I ask people for their opinion. Hey, do you think I should?
That's right.
It's just one of those things.
If you want to do it, you just
I'll just do it. So, even having a 9-to-5 has always been challenging because, sitting at a desk, I always think about the commercials, sitting at a desk, punching a keyboard, clocking in to go to the bathroom, clocking out for lunch, so long story short, but, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So I remember sitting at my job at the time and I was in a cubicle. And the cubicle was gray, which is very depressing to stare at, 8 hours a day. And I used to always think, like, there's got to be more. Like, this cannot be my life. I know there's more for me.
Yes.
So, of course, the challenge is, at that time when I started my business, I loved my business. Like, that was my 100% passion. And when I would go to work, it was just like, it was so boring. I didn't want to be there. But, of course, you need a paycheck. So, I think one of the hardest transitions was transitioning to the business full time. And I can honestly say my business was not making full time money.
Okay.
But, sometimes like I knew that it could work. You know how you just know?
You just know.
And of course.
How did you compensate for that? Since, like you said, you started and you had to kind of transition from your job and you weren't making the money. Because someone out there is trying to say, yeah, I want to follow my dream, but hey, I got these bills to pay. So let them know what got you through that little patch.
I mean, luckily for me, I was married at the time.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I can't lie. I would not have been able to do it without my partner at the time.
Okay.
Just starting out, with my wife at the time. And, that's a whole nother set of struggles because, when you really have a passion, I feel like you want the people around you to share your passion.
Oh, yes.
And sometimes with relationships, like you can't,
It doesn't happen.
you can't guarantee that that's going to happen. So that was a lot of, it was a great support where I needed it, but it was also a divider where I probably did not need it because now I'm divorced. But, it was definitely a struggle because, for me, when that was my passion, that's what I wanted to do 24/7. I woke up thinking about the business, went to sleep thinking about the business. And Sometimes it's hard to have two loves or, something like that. But I mean, it was a struggle. I think it being in a relationship and having a business can be it can bring you closer together, or it can pull you apart.
Yes, and I've known both. People have gone that route and they've ended up closer than they were before, and others
Right.
they were just totally, the relationship fell by the wayside. I'm sorry that happened for you, but it seems to me that in the end you did go on to pursue what you were passionate about. And tell us what your first big I say break for the lack of a better word, okay? That first big challenge that made it, that broke through for you, that kept you motivated to, I can do this, so I'm going to go further.
Gotcha.
So what was that first major threshold that said, I know I made the right decision and I'm going to keep on going?
So, probably one of the first ones was probably one of our first major events. So I think that was 2009. So one of our first major events was an event called the Delaware Black Awards. So for the Delaware Black Awards, I'm not sure how many people listen to Steve Harvey.
Okay.
But, at one point he had something called the Hoodie Awards. And the Hoodie Awards is now changed to the Neighborhood Awards. But, so for the Hoodie Awards, basically what they did is they recognized businesses and organizations in the community that don't normally get recognized.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
So I was like, okay, well, if that works on a national level, would that work for Delaware?
Okay.
So basically what we did is, so this is about 3 years after my business first started, and we set up an event called the Delaware Black Awards. And basically the goal of the Delaware Black Award was to promote businesses in the community that don't normally get recognized. So we had categories such as best barbershop, best hair salon, best realtor, best insurance agent, best community organization, best live band. And, it's one of those things where, like, we didn't know if it was going to work. We didn't know if people would come out. We didn't know if they'd get excited. So needless to say, we're still here.
Okay.
But, it ended up being a great turnout. And one of the things that I didn't think about, or I didn't think about enough, was how appreciative people were that we were recognized. Like, even if they did not win, that they were recognized from being among their peers. Because, I mean, if you think about it, when do barbershops get awards for, like, people's favorite? In the Black community. So after that event, I will say I think our stock skyrocketed a little bit. And, I think also it brought
Was it held up outside? I didn't mean to cut you off, but was it held outside, or did you go to a hotel?
Yeah, so we actually had it at the Baby Grand right on Market Street.
Right.
So, after that, everyone, when are you going to have that event again? Like, we loved the event. And, we tried to make it fairly classy. Of course, we're on a limited budget, so we couldn't do it like Steve Harvey. But, we tried to make it a quality event and just make it so that people really appreciate it. And after the event, I will say a lot of people were talking about it. They, a lot of people liked it. When are we doing next year? They want to be a part. They want to. So, that's one of the first things where I'm like, you know what? Like, I think we can do this.
So that's good. Now we're up to the part where I think I'm enjoying this immensely. I hope you know that.
Yes.
But I want to know what's coming up now for NBG. What are some of the things that you're planning on doing within the next few weeks or few months?
Gotcha. Okay. So I almost want to, like, rub my hands together.
Okay.
But so, like, we have a lot of great things. So the first thing, and I might have showed you a portion. I can't remember if I did, but so of course, so right now we have 15 city-based websites where we promote Black businesses, local events, positive news and information. So in the next couple of weeks, hopefully in the next week or two, we have our mobile app coming out. So with the mobile app, I really think it's great. So it's called the Black Guide app. So we're kind of coining it as the Black City Travel Guide.
Oh my!
And now the reason why we're saying that, and I wish I don't have my phone with me, but with the app, if you went on the app, so it's great for people who travel. So, like, let's say you go to DC, and maybe you want to find a Black business, you want to support a Black business. Through the app, you'll be able to locate what Black businesses are closest to you.
I think
So
that's an excellent idea.
right. So
My
let's
God.
say you want to
Yes.
let's say you want to get some soul food, and you're in DC. And you're like, okay, I'm not sure where the soul food places are. Potentially, you would be able to go on the app, and you may be able to see what soul food restaurants are closest to
Wow.
you. Or if you're just looking for a black-owned establishment, you may be able to see what's close to you. Or if you're looking to see like some local events, and like even when I think about, so if I go to Jacksonville, Florida, and let's say I'm there for a conference, I'm there overnight, and I want to do something. How do I know what to do? Like where do I go? I'm not even familiar with Jacksonville. I can look online, but maybe those may not be the events that immediately are interesting to me. So with the app, there's a lot of things you can do through the app. So one, you can locate black businesses in the cities that we have websites,
Okay.
because it's kind of tied to our website. You can locate local events. You can see news happening in the area. So those are the main features that we hope that people will really download it, keep it on their phone, and as you travel, you'll want to go to those cities. On the flip side, I think it's a benefit because if you're a black business, you would want to make sure that you're listed on our app. If you do events, you would want to make sure your events are on our app so that when people go those cities, they can find your business, they can find your events.
That certainly would have helped me several years ago because I do a lot of traveling and I spent a lot of time in hotels in cities where I knew absolutely nothing about the
Right.
business arena, and I had to depend on the hotel, whatever they served there or whatever was nearby where I could, make a phone and have them delivered. But I was totally on my own. So, but it's better late than never, right?
Yeah, I mean-
Because this is the time, this is
Exactly.
now. So now when I travel, I'm going to have something that's going to help me out, right?
Yep, correct.
Right. If you're just joining us, we're talking to Leonard Young, who is the owner of the NBG Network. And he's been telling us about the great time that he has had in developing this particular organization so that it can be of benefit to the entire community, not just the black community, but particularly the black community. And so what we're going to do now is to give him an opportunity to, again, tell us what major event that they're sponsoring and how you can go to the internet and find their organization and what he and how you can get involved, because it sounds to me like something that you would want to know about. And if you're watching this show and you're not in one of the cities that the network is in, if it's not your city, you need to contact him so he can make sure that NBG Network is also represented in your city. So with that, take it away.
Yep. So as of right now, we're not specifically sponsoring any events, but I would encourage you, so you can go to our website, our main website, which is nbgnetwork.com. When you go there, it does have the list of all the cities we're in. If you go to each city individually, just some of the benefits that we didn't talk about. You can list your events for free on our website.
Oh, very good.
Yep. You can list your business for free on our website or organization. So, we talked about businesses, but let's say you're trying to find a church.
Okay.
So if you go to different cities, you're trying to find a church or just any community organizations as well, you can list those for free on our website. On the app, there may be a small charge for listing your business, but the events are free. We got to generate revenue at the end of the day.
We do.
But, long story short, we're just trying to be a positive influence. So please, check out all our cities. Support it. You can sign up for our email list. If you sign up for our email list, we send out periodic emails regarding events and promotions we're doing. The app hopefully is available in the next 2 weeks. So definitely, stay close to Dr. Marcy, because hopefully once she gets it, she'll be talking about it as well.
Oh, yes.
And, other than that, just some of our immediate needs, we're always looking for writers. So there's people who like to write, who may want to submit articles for our websites. We do that. Of course, we work off of advertising. So we talked about going into different cities. What helps us go into different cities is when people advertise, and that provides us the budget to set up different systems to go back in those different cities as well. We do have some events coming up, but they're a little too early to kind of talk about because I don't have all the details right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
But stay tuned. Also, you can connect with me personally. I'm probably most active on Instagram.
Okay.
But you can just find me under my name, Leonard J. Young. And other than that, we'll keep moving.
That's right. That's right. And now I'd like you to take about 30 seconds and give some viewer or viewers out there, what would you say to encourage them to keep moving toward their goal?
Gotcha. So the first thing I probably say is you got to believe in yourself. So if you believe in yourself, anything is possible. And it may not happen in the time that you want it to happen. I mean, I've been doing this 10 years. I'm not a millionaire yet, but I feel $1 million coming.
All right.
And, for myself, I feel like 2018 is my year. And even though the other years, some of them been horrible, but, I've always believed that greatness was coming. And I just believe that, this was something that could be done no matter what anybody said. You're always going to have naysayers. And someone said, like, if nobody's hating on you, then you're not doing anything.
Oh, I've heard that before.
Right. So,
all right. And I subscribe to that too. There are greatness inside of us, all of us. We were destined to be great.
Right.
So what I want to do is thank you for that word of encouragement. I hope you were listening to Leonard Young when he gave you that word. Now, I, Dr. Marcy Bryant, would like to encourage you to continue to dream big, get up off of that couch. Don't just sit there, make today better than yesterday, and then anxiously look forward toward tomorrow. Prepare for tomorrow because it is going to be a great day. How do you prepare for tomorrow? Do today what you can do without procrastinating. Again, follow those dreams. This is Dr. Marcy Bryant with Power Up. We want you to do extraordinary things.